Just trying to film the intro here. Burning all my sh. Welcome back to episode 3. I'm here at the Wither Skelly Farm. I ran out of beacons, so I need to come here to get a few more skulls. And I was testing out this spear. It's pretty good against withers. The problem is, these guys, don't work hardly at all. Yeah, I got Smite 5 on it. It one-shots them, which is nice. But yeah, blades are a problem still. And see, it's like kind of clunky. Like you have to be quite a ways away from them. I don't know. I'm not the biggest fan of it. I mean, a Smite 5 sword is just gonna be easier, I think. You're gonna get hit is the problem. And see, it's like really slow too. Yeah, anyway, since I was here, I wanted to do some quality of life stuff. The original plan was to make this a storage room. I'm still gonna do that. But I built this before copper columns were a thing. So I think I'm gonna use them somehow. Because when I'm here killing mobs, your inventory quickly gets full. Stuff like this. But there's not too many items you get from being here. So I think I'm gonna use like 2 or 3 sections of copper columns. See, it works when you're holding it for a while. Kind of. Yeah, I don't know, it's just kind of clunky. But yeah, I've been using this as a storage room. And I need to get all this stuff moved out of here and moved into the other room. What I would like is a chest that's easy to get to, like somewhere on the side or something, so I don't have to run over to the edge. But so I can come in here quickly, hit the chest, dump off all these items, and they just get sorted. And I think I'm gonna do it on this side. And then for like netherrack and stuff, I'll put that in here. Netherrack and soul sand. Yeah, we'll see how it goes here. This game can be annoying sometimes. I had 2 boats sitting here, and I went to leave, and 2 wither skeletons got stuck in it. A magma, a big one, spawned right behind me, pushed me into him. I couldn't get out of in between the boats, and then a gas spawned right here and was shooting at all 3 of us, or all 4 of us, and they killed me, and my stuff went everywhere. Most of my stuff is netherite, so that all survived. And surprisingly, my bow and elytra didn't end up in the lava. So I didn't really lose anything, other than my helmet, and I cannot find it. I don't know how it would have disappeared. All my tools were laying here in the lava. Anyways, that was fun. And in a panic, I put on Curse of Binding, so can't get this off now. Yeah, I'll just quickly show what I accomplished here. Nice. These guys are the worst. Anyway, what I have here is just two copper golems, and they're just walking back and forth on soul sand back there. That's how they're able to reach the bottom and the top. But yeah, I have it so I can just come here, dump this stuff off. I don't have that in there yet, but yeah, he's just going through here. I gotta deal with the swords at some point. I'll just burn them. More than likely just burn them. Yeah, and I just adjusted these a little bit. But yeah, pretty simple. I'm not really sure what I'm gonna do with all this space, but we'll see. Anyways, I'm getting out of here now. Hopefully I don't die. Alright, we're back at the main base here. I've acquired a new helmet. Wasn't too bad to get. I think it's the same one. The most frustrating thing about that was the only 2 things I lost were my rockets and my helmet, which I shouldn't have lost the helmet anyway. And if anything, I should have lost my pants and my bow. I don't know, very confusing. But anyway, this thing is pretty much fixed for the most part. I'll explain later how I fixed that. Over here, I completed the kelp cactus farm. that'll supply cactus to the XP farm. I'm just kidding. That's not the cactus farm. I just temporarily built that so I could get more cactus to fill the actual farm. But here's the plan for the actual cactus farm. The place cactus will be 7 by 7 here. I got it 7 by 6 right now. I decided I just need to expand it one more this way. But I started digging out the hole, and the plan is to go all the way to bedrock, or not bedrock, go all the way to deep slate. And then I'll probably come up about level with this, so it'll be probably 2 or 3 more layers above the surface here. Yeah, I gotta finish digging out the hole and dig all the way down to deep slate. We'll see if I actually go that far. It's gonna be a long ways, but shouldn't be too bad with haste 2. Yeah, and this isn't gonna be too complicated. It's just gonna be this farm on a larger scale. So basically, if you haven't seen one of these before, cactus grows up to the signs there, pops off, ends up in the water. But yeah, all the cactus in this whole farm will just go to the bottom, and then I'll bring that over and up with a bubble elevator, and then we'll go into the main XP furnace array. Yeah, I'll get digging this out and update you in a bit. Something so satisfying about digging a hole with haste 2. Soothing for some reason. Anyway, I dug it down to level 0. I hit deep slate about 6 or whenever you hit it, but figured I'd go all the way to 0. And then I've just been replacing the sides with stone brick, because obviously it's easy to get. But yeah, I just gotta replace that side, dig out that little bit in the middle. I'll add a collection system down at the bottom, a temporary one, and then I'll start placing the layers. It's gonna be kind of a pain to build, but I'll start from the bottom and work my way up. But yeah, it'll pretty much be the exact same as this. And then I'll replace that middle block with like a light source or something, just to make sure that it doesn't stay dark in there. I gotta go back to the village, or the starter base, and repair these bad boys. And I'll get back at it. Are you noticing anything that looks off? Yeah, I should have made this 8 by 8 here, because then I could end up with 4 by 4 glowstone. Those are the blocks that push the cactus off. And there's no way I can leave it like this. That's gonna bother me till the end of time. So I have to dig 3 out here, 3 out here, and then move this to the edge. It'll look a lot cleaner in my opinion. So I was also right about this being a complete pain to make. But once I get a rhythm down, it's not too bad. Yeah, I had to put these here because if I would have put a glowstone here, this one wouldn't have been needed. It's just my OCD that's making me want to make it bigger. Whatever, we'll do it quick. It shouldn't take too long. Well, I got just about 3 layers done. I'm a little worried about these flowers. Might have to hop in a creative world and see how many end up spawning or growing. Yeah, because if too many of these grow, I might have to go through and like clean them out, because the rates of the cactus will start drastically going down. But yeah, pretty good technique to build it, so it's going pretty quick now. But this thing's pumping out cactus. It almost looks like I'm staring into a tesseract. Here's a collection system down here. It got a little wacky here because items were getting stuck, but yeah, and then it just goes to a bubble elevator in there. It's safe to say I am over building this. I don't know how many hours I have into this, but at this point it's too many. This thing is so tedious to make. Each layer probably takes close to 5 minutes to make, if not 10. And yeah, I don't even know how many layers are. But it's pumping out cactus, so that's good. Now to address the elephant in the room here. If you watched the end of last episode, you'd know that the biggest problem I was having with this was getting the items in here. The hopper minecarts were taking them out faster than they would replenish in here. Now, basically all I did was each flying machine is 20 blocks wide. For every 20 hoppers, I ran it down into 2 droppers. So there's 6 droppers over there now for all the items. So that would be 6 items in at a time. Seemed to be quicker than the hopper minecart could pull them out. Now, I'm not done over there. I'll show you that in a second here. I need to add more, and I need to add more hoppers. The hoppers up top quickly filled up when I harvested the farm, and it wasn't spitting the items out as fast as it could be. I'm basically going to split it, each flying machine, in half, and have 4 droppers per 20 blocks, basically. That'll double the speed of it. Now, for here, I realized that these chests can technically take 3 inputs. One on the side, one in the back, one on top. So I need to rearrange this a little bit so where I'm utilizing all 3 when the items come in. And one way I'm going to do that, or help speed up that process too, is to add hopper minecarts here. A hopper minecart underneath one block, but on top of 2 hoppers will spread the items into 2 hoppers. So that'll double the speed at which the items are entering this chest. Plus, if you have the 3rd input utilized somehow, you're more than doubling the speed that they're coming in. That might be a little confusing. It'll probably make more sense when I get this reorganized. Another thing, I was having some pretty bad congestion issues with the dried kelp, where like this hopper would be completely full of 5 stacks and it would start backing up in this furnace. Really simple solution with that is just to add more of these. Or you can see I was messing around here. I'm not utilizing all the inputs on these autocrafters either. So one idea I have, I'm gonna have to test this out, is to keep just one of these, but have half the hoppers go in the top, the other half come in the side. With the way I have this positioned, it doesn't make sense to do that right now. I have to move this towards the middle. Now if that still isn't fast enough, then I could just add another one of these and split it again. So a quarter of the hoppers, or a quarter of the furnaces outputs will go in one side of the autocrafter. Another quarter of the furnaces will go into the other side. And then the same thing doubled, basically. And that would definitely keep up with it, because it wasn't backing up. It was just barely not fast enough that it would start to back up. And then it would run all the way back to like here, where this hopper would have items backed up in it. And then the other thing you would have saw in that video is when the hopper minecart goes down, drops off its item, and right before it comes back, the furnace is empty. So it's just burning, wasting fuel. And I think I'm going to test around with taking either 4 or 2 furnaces off the end. So there'll be 48 on each side. And then, as for running the farm, it definitely makes no sense to do the clock like I have in the corner. I think the simplest thing to do is look when the farm is empty, then harvest again. That way those hoppers will be empty, this won't be backed up, and then it'll harvest again. Then when this gets empty, those get empty, harvest again. And then it'll be fully self-sufficient, I think. The question is, where do I check if it's empty? I'm thinking the easiest thing is going to be check a hopper over there, make sure it has no items in it, and no items coming into it, and then harvest the farm. That, or I can check one of these chests, I believe, to see if these are empty, and if they're empty, harvest the farm. Not quite sure which one I'm going to do yet, or which one makes more sense, but I'll test it out here in a little bit. But yeah, things are looking pretty good. Once I get all this straightened out, the next step will be to start sending the fuel into another furnace array. And I think, based on this output, I'm either going to do 8 or 4 furnaces. And the idea is that this thing is just going to run continuously and never stop, and I won't ever have to interact with it to get it to run, is the goal anyways. We'll get to testing some things and be back with an update. Also, this cactus farm has been running for quite a while now, and throughout building it and throughout it running the whole time, I have yet to see a flower grow. Now, hopefully it stays that way. I'm not sure why they wouldn't be growing, and I tested it in creative where I built like half of it and I just increased the tick rate to the max and watched it for like 5 minutes, and I never saw one spawn or grow. And this farm over here, it's been running way longer than any of this, and it has yet to grow one either. So hopefully it's not possible for them to grow. But if they occasionally grow, I mean, it'll be a pain to go through here and clean them out, but as long as there's not too many, it shouldn't be a problem. Alright, this is what I came up with. But now that I'm looking at it, well, I'll explain what's going on here. So items are going to come in these hoppers. They're obviously going to go into these ones first. So this is going to be 2 to 1, and then it'll only go, it goes 2 to 1 basically here. One input into this from 2 here. So that'll be slow, but when the items come here, it'll go 1 to 2. So if you throw a stack in here, the hopper minecart will pull it out really quickly and spread it across these two and put into this chest. So all 3 inputs on this first chest are going to be used as soon as kelp starts flowing in. And then it's just the same thing on the other side. But I'm thinking now that I'm looking at this, you could just double this hopper minecart setup to quickly get the items in. I'm not sure I'm going to do that though, because I kind of want this buffer here. There's a buffer here, and then there's a buffer on the back side. Basically, if the items don't get in any of those first hoppers, they'll come around to this and go into these chests. We got to test it out here. Yeah, I think I'm better off just sticking with 2 hopper minecarts. But I'll show you what I have going on over here. I realized after I said I was using 6 droppers, I wasn't. So here's what's going on. 20 hoppers come over, 20 on the bottom, 20 on the top, come over here, and I have them split, and they're just doubly feeding the dropper. Now since I have an observer clock, this dropper will operate at the same speed these items are coming in here, assuming both hopper lines are bringing in items. That's why it's able to keep up with the hoppers, I think, anyways. But to make this even quicker, I'll just copy this whole thing at this end of this machine. Uh-oh. But yeah, you can see these 20 come to here, go to the same setup. But if I split it, so half of these will go to a similar thing, it'll double the speed of all this. Thinking I'm gonna raise this, so I got 2 on this, 2 rows on this top level, and then put a third one down at this level, but back towards the farm a little bit. And then I'm also going to probably remove 3 rows on the edge and bring leaves up, I think. But I'm gonna harvest it here, and then we'll see how it's looking when the items are flowing in. You're about to see the most annoying part of this, where all the items pretty much get scattered in the wind. See, that's why I have the bottom, because it gets stuck down there, and then they'll rise, and then the machine will push them. But yeah, see, a bunch are getting shot up on the edge here, and then, like, this will be easy to take care of when I add, like, leaves or something down the edge, but you can see how many it's leaving. I never planned on this being 100% efficient, but I have some ideas of how to kind of fix this. One thing is to maybe add more bauble columns, remove like a few rows, add multiple rows of bauble columns, more hoppers, and then maybe have like water flowing with signs towards the hoppers. Not quite sure yet. I ran the top again just to try and clean some of these up. But this is how many I picked up on the backside. You can see these are working. And yeah, you can see it's like really getting backed up. I mean, that's probably why most of these didn't get put in here. So, needing another row. I mean, and the farm's only half full, so it's definitely a massive oversight not coming up with a better plan for this. Well, let's go check out and see what it's like with the items coming in. can already tell these are waiting, I think. Nope, they're not. So that's good. Yeah, you can see this filled up like I expected it to. Oh, I don't even have water in here. And this is pulling out at twice the speed because of that. I mean, look how quick that is. I'm not sure why that's not that quick. Yeah, I mean, this is coming in quicker than that's taking them out, which is good. And obviously this one's gonna fill up first. It's looking good though. I'll show this quick too. The issue here. Yeah, you can already see it's backing up. Of all the issues, this is not that complicated to fix. So yeah, I think I'm gonna start. I'll either work on the collection system with the flying machine or start building this cactus smelter. I decided to throw together the cactus smelter real quick. Now this is just 8 furnaces, and I picked 8 because when I was watching the output of the farm, it was around 8 items per 10 seconds, which would mean that all the furnaces would get an item every 10 seconds. But it's a little too slow right now. You can see these aren't being resupplied. This one is, and these ones are, but these 3 aren't. So what I'll probably do is remove 2 of them and then add 3 more layers to the farm. And then I think there should be enough to keep these always full. As for fuel, I basically just moved this unloader over here and just added tracks for it. The farm just shut off because it ran out of items. This worked good. Didn't have any complaints there. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a signal from one of these hoppers. Once that hopper is empty, I'm going to harvest the farm again. Now, I didn't show it, but when I harvested this, just this little bit, you end up with like 7 frames. 7 FPS. So it's going to be a problem. I'm going to have to harvest it more frequently or just make it significantly smaller. To keep the length the same, all I would probably do is take like 10 rows off the edges. Just run down the middle. That would help a lot. And then just harvesting it more frequently would help. But yeah, so far everything is looking good. I tried to decorate this a little bit, but I don't like the way it looks that much. I like the trapdoors in these grates. Like all the floors in this factory, I'm going to try and make grates. And then I think these look really cool when they turn the oxidized, because they look like pipes. But yeah, I think next I'm going to probably clean up the kelp block crafter and then work on the collection system a little bit. Alright, here's what I came up with. Right in the middle, I added 2 hopper rows, and this just goes to another observer clock dropper setup. And this just drops straight down into the water stream. So that should help pick up some of the items in the middle, so these hoppers down here don't get flooded with items. And then down here, I basically moved the leaves back one, added this glass, and then put in another row. Now some of these are going to be 3 or 4 wide. I'm still running like a length of 20 to 1 dropper setup and another length of 20 to 1 dropper setup. But before I had it where this bottom row went to one side of the dropper and this top row went to the other side. Now this bottom row and this new row are going to go to the same side of the dropper, and this will go to the other side. So they should always get doubly fed, which will help keep up with the items. I need to put some leaves in here. But yeah, and then I also removed 5 from the edge, just to help limit the amount of items that are going to the edges. I don't know if that's going to be needed or not, but I still need to add leaves in the middle, and then obviously fill the farm up. But I'll harvest it here, and then you can see how much FPS drop I get from it. Before I do that, I disabled the dropper over there. I need to go re-enable it. Alright, I got that dropper re-enabled. To harvest it, all I should have to do is hit this button. It should be coming this way. Oh yeah, there's the FPS drop. See, if it's gonna keep doing this all the time, that's gonna be a problem. I'm just gonna have to harvest it more frequently. I mean, once all the items get broken, then it's not so bad. The top should not have left. See, there. Now it's not so bad. I'll have to send the top again. There must be something wrong with that observer over there. I must not have it set up correctly like I do with this one. You can see the items still get stuck down there. That's why I was trying to put the bubble columns there. I did not think that was going to happen. I tested it earlier and it didn't do that, but I might just not be able to put these leaves here. And this didn't pick up any items. Yeah, I'm not really sure what to do about the leaves, because they kind of prevent it from the water flowing back in, which isn't great. Also, this thing didn't hardly pick up anything. Yeah, these aren't overflow, which is good. Or overflowing. Yeah, I'm not quite sure how to fix that either without just raising this. You can tell that the... Why aren't these working now? Oh, because it destroyed the source block right here too. So probably have to raise the leaves up a little bit. Yeah, you can see it still has some significant issues here. I keep thinking these are going to be easy to address, all these issues. But then every time I try and address them, it's not as simple as you would think. I think I'm going to try and send this again. At this point, they're getting pretty close to despawning. Yeah, there's just lots of items getting stuck in this edge. Don't know why that wouldn't get picked up. Yeah, I think they're despawning now. So I might not be able to use these leaves here. Not sure. Good news is this is fixed and working. Still need to address that, but I think that's going to do it for this episode. In the next one, I'll probably start building the actual building I have planned. Obviously, the collection system over there still needs a little bit of work, but we're getting close. I'm glad this is fixed behind me, and that crafting setup will be easy to fix. If you're curious about the building I have planned, or how I eventually fix the collection system, keep an eye out for episode 4. Thanks for watching.